My name is Michael or Michael Zähl, and my company is located in Germany, near Cologne. I am the manufacturer of this mixing console, AM1, which we are going to talk about today. I first started to design audio circuitry around 1980, when I was part of the technical staff at Conny Planck Studio. Later, I custom built a mixing console for Conny Planck, and also for Can Studio and for other people. And especially during the time with Conny, I could watch that he would use a mixing console almost like a musical instrument. So 30 years later, I met Mark Ernestus, and we were discussing how a mixing console for today should look like. And again, the conclusion was that the quality that a mixing console should be a perfect tool for making music was clear. So that was a starting point for the AM1. Mark Ernestus got involved in all the development, and out of this came this pure analog state-of-the-art mixer, which is available in scalable from 8 channels to a big console about up to 40 channels now. But today we want to focus on just one module for this AM1, which is the CV channel. So for the CV channel, you imagine just what's that? Okay. Okay. You just imagine a normal stereo channel with all the functionality that you would expect from an analog channel. But then you would have a CV interfacing towards your modular system. And through this CV interfacing, you would be able to control every single knob on this channel. So that would be a huge step towards a musical instrument. And so we started that project, and after a while it became clear that I could not rely on existing circuitry. Because for this unit, a very high level of integration was needed. So I had to design from scratch all the circuitry that's there involved with audio, so all the VCAs, VCF circuits, as well as the CV backbone of this channel, because we have to find a clever way to route all the CV signals to all these single stages. But that was not all. Mark wanted also some CV sources on this channel. And this is where Mark Verbos comes in. And because he contributes the stages that create a CV, like envelope follower, envelope generator, fluctuation, and noise. So that was a short overview of the story of the CV channel. And I'd like to say on this occasion that it took us a very long time to develop that. And during that time, we got a lot of support. So we had talks with other manufacturers of the modular world. With some, we planned collaborations, which probably did not take place in the end. With others, we had technical talks. We had a lot of support from Schneider's, a lot of hints and help from there. So thank you very much for everybody who helped this project getting going. So now, I'd like to pass over to Mark.
Yes, so I guess yes, okay. Be a quick. It's very boomy. I try not to be irritated. Not used to it. No, I'm not used to speaking on the mic. Okay. So, what's the time? It's almost time for the. This is these two stereo CV channels, and the right half of each one is mostly the same functionality as the conventional channels, except for the filter section, which is an EQ section here and like a high pass and low pass here, and just one fully parametric midband. And on the left half, you always have this pair of knobs. The left one is a 12 position rotary switch for 12 modulation sources. 5 you can plug in the back, and 7 that are generated on board with Mark's circuits. And to the right, you have modulation amount, positive or negative. And that's, again, basically this is available for every pot except the input gain. So I didn't count, is it 21 parameters? 10 to 1, yeah. And I don't know, you want to talk about the modulation sources maybe? Or
Sure. Is it turned up? Okay. So when we got together, they had already gone through a few iterations of what would be there, but they had ideas of what they wanted to have, and those things were that they wanted to work with me on. Those things would be this attack release envelope generator, an envelope follower that can change between some different modes for the shape of the decays, and it sends out a gate, and also a random voltage generator. And is that it, right? Oh, yeah, up here.
it's the best one.
Yeah. and anybody who knows me knows that these are things that are well-traveled territory for me before. But the interesting thing about working together with Michael was that he's dealing in much more high-end, much more serious expectations than the synthesizer world ever is. So I actually had to work with my basic ideas that I already had in the synthesizer world and sort of rise to the occasion to push them to much more professional standards. So this fluctuating random up here is controllable from a very slow moving random voltage, barely perceptible to be that it's moving to up into the audio range. And so, for instance, with that, you could along the way choose that from one of these destinations, one of the EQ parameters or one of the aux sends, engage it, and then with this attenuverter circuit, add positive or negative modulation from wherever the control is set. The unique thing that we did with the envelope follower was that we made it so that it's switchable to have the shape of the decay change to be curved like an exponential decay or linear like a linear decay, and that happens without changing the time. This gate extraction section is essentially setting a threshold over which the envelope follower puts out a gate that can then be used to modulate or to engage the attack release envelope or go out a separate output.
Yep.
I think that's all of my stuff, huh?
Yeah, the summing and the attack release.
Okay. Yeah. That's it. Okay.
Time. Yeah, so just gonna demonstrate something.
Okay, yeah.
Huh? Yeah, I think we're already. Yeah.
Is that on? I think you'll demonstrate it, but it's perhaps interesting that decided to go with the low pass and high pass and this mid band. The mid band being more like the equalizer in the stereo channel.
Yeah, because
but with voltage control of all the parameters.
Yeah, because I mean this is one fully a full channel strip like these ones, but because of the possibilities, you would use it differently. So that's why it's all identical except it's a different concept for the filter. This is a very high quality filter conventionally to optimize the sound and basically leave it like that. Of course, you can tweak it if you feel like, but this one is actually more an instrument. So we felt high pass and low pass were more appropriate to be modulated and very deliberately without resonance. It's a very soft curve because being always in your mixer, it shouldn't be a filter characteristic that you get tired of when you heard it 3 times or that you can identify too easily. Okay, so we play something. Maybe we start, you have just a wave. I'm not going to do it too loud so I can explain what's happening. So this is not quite. This is pretty much what's coming in. So just a wave, and now I also have a kick drum running here, and I'm routing this kick drum into the external CV input number 1 on this one, so it triggers the envelope follower and the trigger. The trigger is triggering the attack release, so I can apply that to the level, fade that down, just bring it, have this controlled by the envelope, by this envelope triggered by this signal. I can do the same, of course. The low pass filter. Let me do it differently. So I mean, it becomes clear. Basically, this is a synthesizer without oscillator, with the incoming signal being the oscillator. Yeah, same for the high pass. Wrong source. Then on the insert return, we have a dry wet control. We were hearing a phaser that is inserted. I have a dry wet control here. So, for example, I could have that controlled by the what we call fluctuation, this random LFO. So now this will modulate the crossfader from dry to wet signal with and without phaser. Then we have another track here to just make it a bit more musical. Here on this offset number 4, I have a delay coming back on this channel, so I would have that modulated. Well, if I just open it, this one. For example, this is the panning separately for left and right. This is just the balance between incoming two channels. This is to position each channel in the stereo field. This can be modulated either together or in reverse. So I don't know how much stereo you're hearing. And now it's doing this, also controlled by the random. I can change this to the change the speed of this. It's really fast, almost There's something that I can't figure out. This is likewise controlled by this envelope, of course. The opposite, ducking. Yeah, quick rundown. I don't know how we're doing on time. Over time. Forgot anything in? Anything significant to mention? Yeah, and obviously, and just thank you. No, I don't know. Something was modulating pre-fader. Anyway, yeah. So obviously, I mean, we only had one delay connected, one phaser on the insert, and like very.
The sound that's coming from the modulator here, this lead. Actually, what's coming from the instrument is just a solid drone. So the enveloping, the volume changes, the filtering, the effects, everything's happening from the channel.
Yeah. Yeah. This is just a way.
It's just
yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So you get the idea how ridiculously complex it can get with 6 auxes and yeah, and of course you can cross modulate between channels, side chaining, and yeah.
Okay.